Hi, Dr. Dave here with the top 10 safeties that every pool player must learn to master. Effective defensive play is one of the main things that separates the great players from the good ones, so it is an important skill to practice. Diagrams for all shots in this video are available in the Billiard University Safety Examples document linked in the YouTube video description. The first type of safety is a simple stop and hide. This is a 9-ball example where there is no good shot at the 7, but the safety is very easy, assuming you can hit a stop shot. If you need to pull the cue ball back slightly, you can aim the tip at the stop shot position and just drop it a bit. And if you need to roll the cue ball forward slightly, you can again aim the tip at the stop shot position and just raise it a bit. That was an excellent safety. The cue ball is almost frozen to the 9, taking away a possible one-rail kick off a side rail. This is a similar example, but here I have a two-way shot opportunity. I plan to hide the cue ball behind the 9 while also attempting to bank the 7 off 3 rails to the bottom right corner. If I miss the 7, I leave my opponent in a tough spot. And if I make the 7, I can run out for the win. This type of situation is also a good safety opportunity. I don't have a shot at the 7, but I can easily roll up on the 9 to snooker my opponent. Unfortunately, I left my opponent with a relatively easy one-rail kick. And if he or she is good at aiming this type of shot, I might lose the game. A better way to play the shot is to hide the cue ball on the back side of the 9 like this. From here, my opponent is forced into a two-rail kick like this. I aimed this using the plus system linked in the video description, so I expected to get close, but I was a little lucky to pocket the ball. Sometimes you play a good safety and your opponent still gets lucky and wins. Here's another very reliable type of safety, playing 8-ball as stripes. I just need to roll the cue ball and aim for slightly thinner than a half-ball hit, as covered in my previous video dealing with speed control. Did you see the cue ball and object ball separate at the same angles and speeds? That shot would have been even better if I had left the 15 between the cue ball and 8 to prevent an easy jump escape. This safety uses the same equal separation principle. The downside here is I leave my opponent a chance to jump into a two-rail bank like this. Actually, I was just trying to make the 8 in the upper right corner. Somebody who jumps better than me has a very good chance to pocket this ball for the win. Here's a final equal separation safe where I straddle a blocker. If your opponent is good at aiming kick shots, he or she might be able to get a good hit and tie up the 8 with the 9. I almost pulled it off, but I left a combo on the 9 for the win. Now let's look at some common finesse safeties. In a situation like this, a half-ball hit gives good results. Notice that with finesse shots, I always use a short stroke to control my speed, as recommended in my previous video. With this layout, a full ball hit gets the job done. And here, a very thin hit results in a good safety. Notice how I am using a very short bridge length here to help ensure I use a very short and soft stroke. That is a very effective safety, causing my opponent to go off multiple cushions or attempt a masse kick like this. I was a heavy favorite to win this game after the smart safety play. Another common type of safety is where you create distance between the cue ball and object ball, sending both balls close to a long rail with blockers in between like this. An opponent good with masse kicks might try to tie up the 7 with the 8 and 9 like this. Unfortunately for my opponent, he left me with an easy tangent line carom shot for the win. Here's an 8-ball example where I could use a full hit to snooker the cue ball from the 8 like this. However, any decent jumper has a good chance to win the game from here. A better play is to send the cue ball behind the 10 and 11 while also trying to block the pocket with the 13 like this. If I didn't block the pocket with the 13, my opponent would have had a relatively easy jump for the win. Notice that I am coming into the line of the blockers with this shot. so a wide range of cue ball speeds will still snooker my opponent. Anytime you can get the cue ball up against a blocker, you will greatly limit your opponent's options. My opponent still has a chance to kick in the 8 for the win, but this is not an easy shot. Another useful safety technique is to thin a nearby object ball to create distance and snooker your opponent. When you thin a ball, it doesn't move very much, and the cue ball direction is very predictable. That was a good safety. Even if I didn't hide the cue ball, I still would have left my opponent with a tough shot. With the hide, I am a heavy favorite to win. Here's another common safety situation where I send the object ball straight down the table and hide behind blockers. I've left my opponent with a jump, but it is not very easy to pocket the ball or play a return safe. I got a little lucky and pocketed the ball, also getting shape on the 8. Did you notice I touched the 8 with the shaft of the cue after the hit? This would be a foul under CSI BCAPL rules, and even under standard rules, my opponent has the right to put the 8 ball back where he or she thinks it was, possibly not giving me a shot. Be careful to not bump nearby balls like this. Again, with this leave, I can pocket the 8 and get shape on the 9. I almost missed that shot because I didn't compensate my aim enough for cut-induced throw, which is largest with the stun shot. A final common type of safety is a kick and stick like this. You want to use a rolling cue ball with a shot like this, since a ball rolling nearly straight into a cushion rebounds with stun. Even if the 7 is off the cushion more, this type of shot still works well if you are careful with your aim. That was a good safety. I snookered my opponent, created distance, forced my opponent to go off 2 or more rails, and left the object ball off the cushion some where it is a smaller target. The worst place to leave the object ball is about a ball off a cushion where it is a big ball with a very large margin for error with cue ball direction. I hope you enjoyed and benefited from my top 10 safety video. Be sure to dedicate practice time to these important types of shots. Again, the shot diagrams are available via the link in the video description if you want to use them as a drill. Also, many more shots and much more information dealing with defensive play can be found in Volume 3 of the Video Encyclopedia of 8-Ball and Volume 4 of the Video Encyclopedia of 9-Ball and 10-Ball. Good luck with your game from Dr. Dave.